All right, welcome to Jim's Guitar Garage. Today we're going to be working on this Eddie Van Halen guitar. We're going to be replacing these black dot inlays with some inlays made out of this fine piece of wood straight from Home Depot. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to be making some inlays out of this Spalted Ash. So let's get the neck off of this thing and let's get started. All right, so here's what we're left with after using that hollow screw extractor. It came out very nice. Next, we're going to work on taking out those inlays. I use a 1/8 inch brad point bit, as you can see below, and now I'm using a small screw to try to break up the inlays. These inlays were extremely hard. They were definitely not your normal inlays. So now I'm trying to do it with a pair of needle nose to kind of, pry it up and chip it out a little bit more. And then back to the screwdriver. And then, as you just saw below, I'm realizing that that's gonna take a long time and it's moving quite slow. So next we moved on to the brad point bit, and then I'm using a size that's just slightly smaller than the inlay, so that way I don't chip out the fretboard. And then sorry for that camera jiggle there. So this seemed to be working pretty well, but like I said, those inlays for some reason were particularly hard. I'm not exactly sure what kind of material they were made out of, but they were definitely not, your regular inlay material that's just made out of, cellulite. So I try that for another few seconds, and then go back to the screw. And I'm trying to do this these in combination with each other, hopefully, hoping that I can get that thing out all the way. Stop it. All right, so I finally got most of that out. And then I just put the first inlay in. Here's the emery boards. I will put an Amazon link below. These actually I use for a lot of different things. I actually have 4 different grits on them, so I also use them for fret polishing too, on the 2 finer grits. And of course using a little steel wool back and forth. So the first one is in. I know it's a little there we go. I reset the white balance. So the first one is in, and then we're going to move on to the 5th fret, and then on this I've got some of the inlay out using the old method, and then I went to the brad point pit and I went in reverse. Make sure you go in reverse. You don't want to catch that edge of that fretboard and then have it have it catch and tear out your fretboard. It's one thing if you're, it's different if you're putting in a larger, inlay, but in this case I'm using the exact same size. So here's what it looked like after we put the first few in, and then you can see the comparison with the old ones. All right, and I don't know if you noticed in that last picture, but the first few frets were very, very dark for some reason. This is a, you know, baked maple fretboard, and I don't know, for some reason the finish they used on part of it was very, very dark. So we decided to get rid of that after talking with the client, and then we're going to end up putting some True Oil on here. So this, you know, this process takes a while. It only takes a few hours in between coats, and it goes on very, very, very thin. So you're gonna have to put quite a few coats on there. But the good thing about this is after that first coat, which I usually let dry for at least 12 hours just because I put it on really thick and it usually absorbs pretty well. But this is maple, so it doesn't, you know, absorb a large amount. But you know, you're just putting a microscopic layer on, and you're literally just using like a drop or two for the whole fretboard, and you're just going to rub it in, and then depending on the humidity and the, you know, climate in your area, usually it's about 2 to 4 hours that you can, you know, put another coat on. So we're just going to keep doing this, and then I build up, you know, about 10 to 12 coats on it, and let's see if we can speed this up a little bit. Alright, so here we are after that first coat's put in. You can see it's got a little bit of a sheen to it, but as you build this stuff up, it really, you know, it really starts to shine once you get, you know, to like the third, fourth, and fifth coat. So you can see how dark those first 3 frets are, and then how lighter it is. And then this is after those first 3 frets are much lighter. Color's a lot more even, and it really, really brings out the grain. So then at the end, we also did some buffing and polishing. It had a lot of fine scratches, so we polished most of those out, and I taped off that section. All right, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and please like and subscribe if you did.